Good afternoon, and welcome to the Columbus Municipal School District Board meeting. Today is March the 14th, 2024 at 6:05 p.m. Thank you all for joining us today. We do have a quorum present. We have Mr. Robert Smith, Dr. Josie Shoemake, and Dr. Cynthia Stewart Brown, and myself, Talisa Young. If you would, at this time, please stand for, Dr. Shoemake will provide the invocation, followed by the pledge. Thank you.
Please pray with me. Gracious Heavenly Father, you are always more ready to hear than we are to pray, and to give more than we either desire or deserve. Mercifully receive the prayers of your servants who call upon you, and grant that we may know and understand what things we ought to do, and that we may also have the grace and power to faithfully accomplish those things. Make us ever mindful and worthy of our responsibilities and of the trust which the community has placed in us. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Give us the grace to put away ourselves and purify our intentions, that we may be fit for your service. Through Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'll move to item 3, swearing in of our newly appointed board member, Mr. James A. Richardson, Sr., by Mayor Keith Gaskin.
This is the mic. This one? How about that? All right. Here's the Bible. If you'll repeat after me, I, James Richardson, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi, and obey the laws thereof, that I am not disqualified from holding the office of board member of the Board of Trustees of Columbus Municipal School District, that I will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations. We forgot to hold our hands up. And this is yours, and I think you can be seated, correct?
Right here.
If I could, while I'm here, just say one more thing real quickly. This is the third time as mayor that I've had the opportunity to swear in a member of the school board. And the council and I talk about this often. There's probably not a larger, more responsible thing that we have to do as the mayor and council than to select the school board members for our public schools here in Columbus. I was doing some thinking about this earlier today, and when people think about the school board, they think about developing the annual budget, setting school system policies, and hiring and evaluating the superintendent. But the school board members are truly unsung heroes in our communities throughout this country. They establish the vision and the goals for the public schools in their district, and they set standards for performance of schools and superintendents. Here, there are 6 key reasons why local government is best way to advance public education. Education is not a line item in a school budget's budget, it's the only item. The school board represents the community's voice in public education, providing citizen governance and knowledge of the community's resources and needs. The board members are the policymakers closest to the students. The school board sets the standard for achievement in the school district, incorporating the community's views of what students should know and be able to accomplish at each grade level. The school board is accessible to everyone in the community and is accountable for the performance of the school district. It is the responsibility of the mayor and city council in Columbus to select new board members who will work diligently to provide an opportunity for students to receive a high-quality education which will enable them to succeed in their career and college life. The school board is the community's education watchdog, ensuring that the taxpayers get the most of their tax dollars. The folks that on the school board, I believe, again, are unsung heroes in our community. They don't get really paid much for what they do. They do it out of the goodness of their heart and the importance of knowing that a quality education is the most important thing that can happen in a community. So by having this opportunity, I don't get to speak in front of them often, but I just wanted to say a little bit today to thank them again, each and every one of you, for your service and your willingness to serve the students of our community, which is no higher goal in public service, I believe. So thank you all very much.
All right. Thank you. And congratulations, Mr. Richardson. At this time, we'll move to item 4, which is adoption of today's agenda, policy BBB, policy BCBD. We have a motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
and a second by Dr. Brown. Was that? Okay.
Oh.
All right. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right, next we'll have item 5, school facility and staff recognitions. This is a very special time for us. We have item A, Columbus Middle School cheerleaders, stomp and shake competition, best choreography, 2nd place. Congratulations.
Thank everyone for being here. We do appreciate you. This is a great time for us to recognize some of the great things that are going on in our district. Come on, Coach. Before we get started calling names, they are going to perform a cheer for us. And so we want to make sure that we clear the floor. Thank y'all for that performance. Thank you so much. Great job. And we do want to recognize and give it up for them again. They placed second in the best choreography. I can't even talk about it. The stomp and shake competition. So congratulations, and we are looking forward to recognizing you tonight. We're going to start by calling you up, and when you come up, please come up and just stay in the front standing. We are going to get a picture with you with our board members. And so when I call you up, please come. And we have a few students to recognize tonight. So if you would, give us a chance to recognize and hear every name of every student. I do appreciate it. We have Ms. Jemiah Bergen. Micaiah Danner. Laurencia Ham. Cameron Hill. Kirsten Hunter. Amberly Jernigan, Dallas Lawson, Cambria Shumpert, Cambria Sims, Carmen Smith, and Roston Owens, the captain. And we also have Isabella Dumas, co-captain, who's not here. We also want to recognize the coaches. Ms. Ashley Hill, the cheer coach. Miss Carolyn Richardson, assistant cheer coach. And Miss Brittany Alexander, parent choreographer. Thank y'all so much, Miss. Yeah, take pictures. All right, now we'll turn the mic over to Miss Petty, Miss Chelsea Petty from the middle school.
At the Mississippi Junior Thespian Festival this year, Columbus Middle School set a new school record. We came back with 27 superiors. And we want to recognize the middle schoolers who helped us to get those 27. The certificate's over there. Okay, so when you come up, you're going to go get your certificate and then stand right over here. Jennifer Ariano. Cameron Baldwin. Jacoby Baldwin. Deasia Calmes. Markayla Davis. Emmanuel DeGraffenreid. Owen Donald. Braxton Gunn. Zyla Harris. Aaliyah Moore. Moraley Morales. And Linnea Perry. We also had the opportunity for the first time ever to take our high school students to the state competition. And we had two of our students come back with awards. Destiny Syme and Alexandria McGee. We also want to recognize two faculty members in the district who do help with our program, Ms. Autumn LeGrand and Mr. Andrew Miller. Both of them were unable to be here tonight, but they are invaluable help to us. And also to one of our parents who really helps us out quite a bit, backstage, transportation, bringing me a Mountain Dew, Ms. Angel Baldwin. My students would like to address the board.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Alexandria McGee. I'm currently a junior at Columbus High School, and I'm currently the president for the high school troop 89074. I have been in the CMSD theater program since fourth grade. Theater has given many middle school and high school kids opportunities that we wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. Recently, thanks to Ms. Petty, the high school was able to go to Meridian, Mississippi in February to compete in the state festival on the high school level. Since the high school troop was new, none of the students and Ms. Petty had an idea what we were getting into. Despite the fact that we didn't have enough funds and we couldn't go to both nights of the competition, and since we don't have a high school teacher to direct and guide us on our thespies, we were able to score very high scores, and a few of the students scored 2 or less points away from getting a superior ranking. Also, thanks to Ms. Petty, I was able to receive a student officer apprenticeship. She fought for me to have that opportunity. Originally, they were going to reject my application because I was a junior going into my senior year, and usually apprenticeships are only offered for current freshmen and sophomores. Theater is so much deeper than getting on stage and performing. A few students, including me, were recently contacted by colleges and universities accepting us into their theater programs. Not only would a high school drama teacher help the current students, but it will also give students at Columbus High School more options for electives towards their graduation requirements. We have so many talented eighth graders coming into high school this fall. It would be so heartbreaking knowing that their talent was only limited to the spring musical and that they weren't given a chance to compete and use their talent year round. And unfortunately, that happened to me. But with the high school teacher, that can change. This district can give their high school kids something else to look forward to and give them a chance to have more scholarship and college options.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaliyah Moore, the president of our International Thespian Society program, and I would like to start by thanking all the board members for giving us an opportunity to discuss our ideas for the future of our drama department and our futures as students.
My name is Cameron Baldwin, and I am the vice president. As we know, we have an amazing International Society program at our middle school. But as we go into the high school, it all stops because we do not have a drama teacher, which is what brought us here today.
As we get into the high school, theater does not stop. In fact, it gets better and helps us even more. But without a theater teacher, it sadly stops. Having a theater teacher can help students, even ones that aren't in the theater program, find more confidence in themselves and find a way for them to express their creativity. As we know, high school can be a hard time for students, especially students who struggle with communicating or finding confidence in themselves. But with the theater class and theater, students can get communication skills like articulating better and socializing with other students.
Theater also gives people more awareness and exposures to the world around them. When you do theater, there are good chances that you will have to learn about different areas and cultures. To learn about the characters you're playing, which also allows you to learn how to emphasize with people and understand others better, helping students not to be so unknown in the world around them and learning while they still do something they enjoy.
Speaking of competition, having a theater teacher who is able to commit their whole time to the high school helps us have more opportunities to win at high school level competitions and allow it to be something that we can focus on. With the theater teacher at the high school, we might find more high school competition opportunities and we would get more help with preparations. At the competitions, we are scored and judged, letting us know what we can do better. With a theater teacher who could review this and help us with these weaknesses and strengths, it could give us an even better chance at success for our theater-revolved future.
Overall, having a theater program will be helpful towards the students in the program on the right steps to a bright future.
Thank you again for listening.
We do have one more person to recognize. Again, Ms. Petty, we thank you so much for all your hard work and dedication that you put into our theater program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before they sit back down, I'm, oh, absolutely. Before they sit back down, y'all stand over here. There are several more students here that are involved in the theater program. If you are involved in the theater program in any way, shape, or form in this district, will you stand up? Thank you so much for recognizing the hard work of these amazing kids. And I thank you for the honor of being the Columbus Middle School drama teacher for the past 12 years. I love my position. I love what I do. And I'm not going anywhere till I retire, which, by the way, is no time soon. I'm going to be here for a while. I love teaching theater. Every day I do impossible things. To be successful in theater, you have to know math, English, science, history, art, technology, physical education, sociology, psychology, so much more. They're learning carpentry, they're learning sewing, they're learning painting, they're learning how to empathize. There's so much that goes on that you just don't know about unless you're there every day. Most of all, they learn teamwork, collaboration, how to work together for a common goal, a group of kids coming together. I have seen so many students grow and find success in theater in the 12 years I have been in this district. And there's so many success stories I could tell you, much more than what I have time to tell you, but if you ever want to hear about it, I love to talk about my kids. Just ask anybody that knows me. I will tell you all of them. I never forget them, even after 8th grade when they leave me and they leave the CMS theater program. And it's hard to say goodbye to them, but it's really hard to watch them say goodbye to theater, to say goodbye to the thing that they love, the thing that they have worked so hard on for 3 years. They have put so many hours into. They've come up on Saturdays and Sundays and stayed late till 8 o'clock at night to paint and build and sew and spent their holidays up there, and they have to give it all up.
Ms. Petty, we thank you so much for your kind comments. And we applaud all of our students in so many ways. We have students across the district in many activities, but we want to make sure that we have time to recognize our other students.
Yes, ma'am.
And we appreciate you all. We love you all. We thank you for your hard work and being a part of CMSD. Thank you.
All right, now we want to recognize Columbus Middle School 2024 MSEF Region 5 Science Fair winners. For behavior and social science, we have Zyla Harris, 8th grade, 3rd place. For organic chemistry, we have Dawson Jones, 6th grade, 1st place. Dallas Lawson, 7th grade, 3rd place. Jemiah Bergen, 8th grade, 3rd place. Laurencia Ham, 8th grade, 1st place. For earth and environmental science, we have Amaya McGee, 6th grade, 2nd place. For biomedical and health science, we have Caleb Woods, 6th grade, 3rd place. Olivia Jones, 6th grade, 2nd place. Carson Hendricks, 6th grade, 1st place. And Aurora Valdez Carranza, 8th grade, 3rd place. For physics and astronomy, Landon Abrams, 8th grade, 3rd place. Engineering mechanics, Landon Sparks, 6th grade, 1st place. Nasir Abrams, 7th grade, 2nd place. For plant science, we have Jamasica Moore, 6th grade, 2nd place. Caden Anderson, 8th grade, 2nd place. And for our 2024 Michael Adam Memorial Award, we have Miss Sophia Harmon. Again, let's give it up for these young people and Miss Harmon. She's still young, Miss Harmon. All right, let's give it up for all of our young people that we had to recognize today. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you plan to stay for the remaining of the board meeting, you can go, remain seated, but if you plan to leave, you can go ahead and exit at this time. Again, we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you to all of our students. Intercession, yeah, intercession. Thank you. And that cleared the room.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Miss Cora. Let's see, item 6, where are we? Here we are. At this time, we'll move to item 6, our FY 2022 financial audit review by Mr. Leslie Shivers. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time and traveling to come and give the board a presentation regarding our audit and our finances. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Chapman, all right. We'll get it on for you.
Great. It's nice to be with you this evening. My name is Leslie Shivers. I'm the owner of Charles L. Shivers CPA LLC. Been in operation since 2001 with my firm. Prior to that, from 1978 to 1996, I worked with the State Auditor's Office. From 96 to 01, I worked with the Department of Education. So for the last 46 years, and you know, you can do the math, you can figure the age, okay? I've been involved with public school, consulting, accounting, and auditing. And I continue to do it, desire to do it for a few more years, the Lord willing. The the 2022 audit report is available to you if you don't already have a copy. I mailed 10 copies to the district. If you need more copies, obviously let me know and I can get those to you. I'm going to kind of break down an audit into its components. We got there's a financial component of the audit. The goal, the objective there is the auditor is ultimately going to issue an opinion on those financial statements. And ideally, we want that opinion to say that those financial statements are free of material misstatement. That's what the audit opinion is ultimately saying. The financial statements were free of material misstatement. You've got in our terms, we call it an unmodified opinion. You can think of it in terms of a clean opinion on those financial statements. Another component is that because we get a lot of federal dollars, those federal dollars have to be audited. Now, the federal government has provided us with some guidance that we are to follow on selecting which federal program is going to be audited. And for that 22 year, it was the SPED Education Plus, we call it, and also your ESSER funds are going to be federal dollars each and every year until they go away. And again, that's coming from guidance from the auditing of the ESSER funds is required by the federal government each and every year until they go away. The objective there on the part of the auditor is to issue an opinion that's going to say that those federal programs are free of material non-compliance. It's compliance audit that we're performing on those programs. The opinion that was issued on these two programs, SPED Ed and the ESSER, okay, there we go, is again an unmodified opinion, or you can think of it in terms of a clean opinion. Another objective of the audit is to audit state compliance. Now, for the 22 fiscal year, the state auditor performed that, and you've since gotten a report from, you've not gotten a report from the state auditor on that compliance as of yet. But the state auditor decides to pick and choose districts that they decide upon for whatever reasons that they're going to perform the state compliance part of the audit. So in this 22 year, they did that portion of it. That report it seems, has not been issued at this point. The other component of the audit is that we gain an understanding and we document that understanding of the accounting controls that relate to various aspects of operations, whether that be payroll, accounts payable, activity fund revenues, those types of things. And we make an assessment of that understanding to see if we think that the design of those procedures are essentially suitably designed. The overall objective of the design of the controls is to give you assurance that at year end, those financial statements are free of material misstatement. And we do some limited testing on those controls. Now, we did have, there was 4 findings that fell out as part of the audit. And I need to put this in perspective too. As an auditor, it's not my job to walk in the front door and find a problem. That's not my job. My job is quite simple, and that's to follow professional standards when I do an audit. If I follow those standards and there is a potential deficiency in the controls, there's a likelihood that it will be detected and reported on. Like I said, we got four. One finding pertains to the financial statements. The other three findings pertain to federal programs. The finding that pertains to the financial statements, it falls into this category we call significant. If you want to think about deficiencies in controls, there's the high end, which would be a material deficiency, and then one is kind of in the middle that we refer to as significant, and then you just got the low end matters that we typically just discuss on an oral basis with management. We were testing payroll. We had a sample of 25. Of that 25, 17 were teachers. And of that, we had 13 teachers that had contracts with salary amounts that were incorrect. Okay? When we looked at that contract and we looked at that salary, it was the wrong salary on the contract. The salary that was on the contract was from the salary scale from the year before. Okay? Now, it's also important to note that the actual salary paid to that employee was in agreement with the board approved salary. So we had a clerical error somewhere in there as it related to certainly these 13 of our 25 that we tested. On the federal audit side, with regard to ESSER 2, there was an expenditure of $9,953 and some change for band supplies and equipment. And those band supplies and equipment were not specifically narrated in the program budget that was approved by the Department of Education. And the district obviously expended those monies and later got reimbursed for those monies. We did not question that cost. We have certain rules that guide us on if we question cost, and it starts at $25,000 and goes up. So this is certainly below our threshold. The Department of Education may look at this, and the Department of Education may, as part of their audit follow-up requirements, they may go down that road and look at this a little bit deeper and make a determination as to whether or not it warrants being repaid. I can't speak for them. I can't answer for them. I'm just mentioning to you what their process is if they decide. Regarding ESSER 2, the district acquired services from Mississippi State University for $23,575, and the Mississippi School for Mathematics and Science for $12,000 without having received an adequate number of quotes, vendor quotes, or the school board declaring the expenditure a non-competitive purchase, a sole source item. The last finding that I've got here is dealing with the special ed funds, and that's your IDA Part B and your preschool. That's what we're talking about. It's very similar to the previous finding. The school district acquired services from SEAS Education, $13,620, without receiving an adequate number of quotes, or the school board declaring the expenditure a non-competitive purchase, again, a sole source item. All of these findings, the one on the financial and the one on the federal, fall into this middle bucket we call significant, okay? It's not the top end, the high end, which we would call material. It does warrant, obviously, reporting and writing in the report to you. The school district management did respond to these findings, which is required, and did so in a positive manner with regard to their corrective action and their plan and the implementation date of that plan. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain any questions from the from the school board.
Board.
So if the school district properly respond to the requirements.
Yes. And as part of the audit process in the next fiscal year, we will actually, as auditors, follow up on that corrective action plan to see that it was implemented as they stated.
So as we speak, there's nothing else expected from the school board at this time, or from the school district at this time.
No, not at all. Again, the thing that we have to understand is that because these funds, these federal funds, they flowed through the Department of Education. The Department of Education, they have an obligation of what it's called audit resolution. And I know because my 5 years, I did that. Okay, I understand that component. So these findings will be reviewed by the federal program office, and they'll make a determination as to whether or not they're fine with where things are, or if there needs to be some additional follow-up on their end. And again, I'm just mentioning that to you to let you know what that process is at the Department of Education when they get that audit report, and obviously they've already gotten this by now.
Board, in the report, starting with page 91, is the corrective action plan, 91 through 93. Did we have any other questions?
Not a question, but just thank you very much for what, all the work you did on that, because it's important that we stay where we need to be.
I'd like to make just a couple of final comments and remarks, if I may. Certainly, number one, that the job that we do as an auditor, we cannot do without your staff's assistance. The staff is to be commended. They went out of their way to accommodate us when we asked for certain documentation, invoices or receipts or whatever it may be. They stopped without hesitation, went and pulled the record that we needed, that we wanted to look at. So they're greatly appreciated and to be commended about that. I need to mention very briefly where this auditing business is going, and particularly the governmental accounting. Amazingly enough, governmental accounting is very complex, and it's getting even more complex as we move forward. In the last 2 years, we've had 2 new standards that have come into play. One of them deals with the leasing of equipment, and the other one deals with the purchase of subscription software. And the implementation of those 2 standards is very complex. And it's been time consuming. It's been our experience with our clients, with them getting that implemented so that we can audit that. And that's pushing everybody behind. We've got a March 31 deadline set by, there's obviously some guidance at the federal level with regard to March 31, but the state accreditation standards also sets that March 31 deadline. A year ago, 96 districts did not meet that deadline, okay? This March 31 is going to be worse than that. And that's because of a number of factors. Number one is going to be the implementation of these 2 new standards I talked about, which is time consuming. And then the other thing is the audit group, there's 9 CPAs in the state of Mississippi that do audits of public school districts. A very good friend of mine, she's out of it. I'm getting out of it. Nobody's coming into it. And that's a serious problem. I've had a fairly lengthy discussion with some officials at the state auditor's office about this, to no benefit of mine, okay? I'm getting out of it. But I'm passionate about this, and I'm concerned about where we're going. And we're going to have to change this, and we're going to have to get other CPAs involved with it. TE Lot, locally, they used to do school district audits. They don't do them anymore. And there's a number of other firms around the state that are just like TE Lot. They just don't do it anymore. And then there's the March 31 deadline that obviously the Department of Education is going to have to address, to have an accreditation standard that 2/3 of the district cannot meet. I think we got a standard problem. So that's an issue that is before them that I think they're going to have to address. But it's ever changing, it's getting more complex, and then there's going to be more to it. But it's obviously, this is something I've done for 46 years. I'm very passionate about it. Business managers, there used to be a pool of candidates for business manager when one would retire. Today, what happens when one retires, we have, I'm going to just call it fruit basket turnover. A retires, they hire B, C comes over here, and that's what we're seeing. There was recently, just this past week or last week, some turnover on the Gulf Coast. This one person out of District A went to B. And the salary posted for that district was in the 6 figures, okay? And then a client of mine lost an assistant business manager to one of those positions that opened up, and we just got that turnover that's happening. The business managers are hard to come by right now. And that's not getting any better either. So we got some problems on the horizon, or well, we got problems currently and certainly on the horizon that obviously needs to be addressed to some degree by the state officials, in my opinion. And I've expressed my concerns to them. I have. It's been a pleasure. I've got one more year under contract with you, the 23 fiscal year audit. Looking forward to that. I don't really have any timelines yet on when we'll be getting to that, but I did about 11 audits last year. I'm only doing 6 this year. So you can see I'm dropping down. My wife keeps asking me when I'm going to quit. I hate to tell her, but I'm never going to quit, okay? I'll always be involved. If you ever need me, reach out to me. Be more than happy to accommodate any concerns, questions that you may have. And then you got to work out our emails. I'm going to your junk mail. I apologize. Right. Anything further, I will let y'all get to the business at hand. Great. Thank y'all.
Way to be with us today. All right, thank you. All right, okay. At this time, board will move on to item 7, Board of Education, consideration to approve our minutes, items 1 through 5, February the 2nd, 7th, 9th, 12th, and 19th.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Brown and a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right, next we have trustee travel report. Board, we did have travel last month. We had an opportunity to go down to MSBA, Mississippi School Board Association, along with Dr. Ellis, and just something brief. You want to start?
Yeah,
Okay.
It was a great conference, two very full days, and there were a number of very interesting sessions. The three I enjoyed the most were on ethics with Tom Hood. He's super. Always learn something new from him. The other one was that I really enjoyed was Dr. Dickey, promoting literacy from a systemic perspective. We had actually heard him talk in the spring conference in 2020, and I think we were about to book him to come up to be the kickoff speaker, and then of course COVID hit. But the one I wanted to go into a little bit was artificial intelligence. And my big takeaway from our speaker, who was Chris Chisholm, was that, as he put it, humans that use AI will replace humans that don't. Now, you shouldn't get too, I went into this thinking I'm going to just put my head in a bag and hope it goes away. But he was very positive on this, and he showed you how, you can try to block it, but it's not going to work. You can try to catch it, but you still can't. So you have to figure out how to use it ethically. And that was what most of his talk was on. And he had some really good ideas about what artificial intelligence can do to save people time. The key is knowing the right questions to ask this powerful machine. And I think it's something, I don't know, Dr. Ellis, if we have even thought about what's coming down the pike on that, but I would definitely, he is in, well, did you go to that session? Okay, then you have his contact data. I think it'd be worth talking in depth to him on how we might be able to use this to create some efficiencies in the district. So that's brief after I got to my point.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm quite sure I got something to say. But I guess with Dr. Tommy Henderson, is that I was impressed with the session when I attended on Dr. Henderson concerning how to deal with difficult people. And there were several ways that she listed, learning how to diffuse the tension, how to hold people accountable, how to compose yourself when you're confronted with difficult people. And the other one was on ethics, the open meeting and public records compliance for school board members. So those was a couple of sessions that I was impressed with. Of course, we all attended numerous sessions.
We did. We all, like you said, attended numerous sessions. The one that stuck out to me the most was addressing chronic student absenteeism in today's schools. Dr. Amitra Tell, she's the executive director of MDE Education, Office of Compulsory School Attendance Enforcement. This was very enlightening because a lot of the information that she shared with us, I found it to be some of the things that we go through at CMSD and how we're trying to change the narrative of that. She had a lot of not only interesting things to say, but factually proven information that where she's helping districts across the state deal with this and how they're making changes, because the students that we have today are definitely different than the students that we were. So they're trying to meet the students where they are to make those changes and move forward in that respect. But she is moving across the state, working with districts that are dealing with this problem, and I found that very fascinating. It was a very good topic.
Well, it seems like the board covered everything. We were in some of the same sessions, but I was in the AI session. It was very interesting. They had two students from, I think, Corinth and another student from maybe Oxford. They, they had essays and they provided us information on how AI could be used in a good way. And they also talked about how AI could be used in a negative way. And so they kind of did a contrast. I'm interested to see how AI is going to develop, and I'm interested to see how we're going to implement that in our district to make sure that we're on the cutting edge of AI, because it is definitely here. Also, I attended another session. They were talking about board superintendent's roles and ethics. So that was pretty interesting. But other than that, that's it. Got a chance to network and talk with some different board members from different districts, and that's always good because sometimes they have the same. Sometimes we can think that we're the only person that has certain issues, but it's common among many districts, and so I enjoyed it. It gave me a chance to bond with my board as well. We miss Dr. Brown.
We did. All right, thank you, Board, for that, and Dr. Ellis. At this time, we'll move on to discuss our capital improvement plan for CMSD. Mr. Little, how are you today? Good.
Yeah, the usual reports that you get, but we've also added a capital improvement at the athletics department. And as you go through it, you can look, the gold is everything that's completed. The green are the ongoing projects that are going on right now. Red is where we would need a little bit more information on which way to go. The purple is jobs that we would like to do as the money becomes available. We've got a few things. A lot of, when you look in the yellow, is the things that's been done completed over the last several months. Through the walkthrough that went last week, the urinal has been fixed. We have ordered some some benches for the baseball locker room. Ordered them yesterday. They should be here, they said, within a week or so. Today, we put a new door frame in where you go into the high school locker room. We replaced the door and come to find out that the door jamb had been busted. So we went ahead and put a new door jamb in. The door wouldn't close correctly, so we replaced that today. The coach's door came in yesterday. We got it over there, unpackaged it, and it was busted. So we took it back to Catch and Carry. They ordered us another one. It will be here, they said, between 3 weeks and a month. So we'll have that. We was hoping to have that done before the meeting tonight. We have started painting in the weight room. He's probably about 70% complete in there. And are there any questions on the athletic capital improvement? You should have received that sometime here last week.
I do see it here. Oh, you go ahead. I can wait.
In the athletic complex, how long you think it'll be before they finish painting it on the interior?
Well, we had looked at getting a contractor to come in and do that, but things have changed. What we're going to try to do is hopefully finish the weight room up tomorrow or Monday, and then I'm going to put a crew over there just to go ahead and start painting on the floors. We did a trial run in the visitors field house, and I think it looked pretty good. So that's what we're going to start doing next week, because we won't have any kids coming in there, and they have to stay off of the floor for 48 hours. So we're going to start over in the junior high locker room and just work our way out.
When we was visiting last week, and the showers, the handles on the showers, there was a couple of them that was leaking that we showed to Mr. Chapman. So have that been repaired yet?
I didn't know about the handles leaking. But I'm gonna write it down, so we'll take a look at it.
Okay. And lastly, what was the decision? I know it's been discussed. We ordered some bleachers for the baseball. We ordered small section on one side and a small section on the other side. But there's some space there on both sides, so has any discussion been done, from the administrative staff, with the maintenance and the AD as far as filling out those other spaces that we discussed?
Okay, that was one of the things that's in red that's ongoing.
is, I
We
saw
put those
that.
bleachers there, but the topic had been that we may buy some more. But I haven't got a definite go on it yet.
Because I believe the accommodation, from what I was told, now I'm not for sure, that each section's supposed to accommodate around 100 people, but, I mean, if 50 people get up there, it's pretty tight. So I hope that we come to some agreement on purchasing more. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Only question I have is, in the basketball locker room in the gym at the high school, is that on rotation to be painted? The, the new one. Mhm. Mr. Richardson or Dr. Brown, did you all have anything? Okay, all right. I think that's it. I had another question, but if, my memory, if I do, I'll just email Dr. Ellis.
Okay.
Thank you all.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
you.
y'all. Have a good evening.
All right, at this time, we'll move to item 3, discussion of Hunt Campus Recovery, review of expenditures and reimbursement for payments, projects. No actions this month, board. This is just for review of what we've spent at, for the Hunt project. Do we have any questions? Mhm. Okay. Okay. To put it back, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Do we have an idea when the other windows will be coming in?
But he just told me that he didn't have a definitely on, but they're supposed to be in by the end of this month, and hopefully they can get them all in, start putting them in by mid-April, and have the windows completed. But he said they're slowly but surely each week coming in.
Okay, so in the cafeteria, as far as the supply list for the cafeteria, have we ordered any equipment? Have they ordered any equipment? Are they still
Not as
getting
of,
it out?
not as of right now. It's on. I think it's supposed to
He
go
sent
out. for
supplementary
bid.
items. They
Yeah.
put the change order, the list of what's needed for the
On the agenda.
kitchen, what is it, the fuse box, I call it
The
the
switch
fuse
gear.
box, the
Yeah.
switch gear,
Mhm.
and it's one more thing. Oh, and then you gave a list of the desk, the
Classroom
furniture that we
items and
would
stuff that we
need for
have.
the building.
Yeah.
So we are ordering new tables for the cafeteria area, right?
We actually have some tables that were just recently purchased. We'll have to
really?
look at to see just how many extras we'll need because they there were some old tables that we'll have to get rid of that were not. I think they were all rustic and so they did order some. There were some purple tables that had recently purchased before this took place. So those are some items that we are able to salvage. So you may have to purchase a few more, but those are in good condition.
The tables that we have in storage in good condition.
Some of the purple, just the purple tables. The purple, there were three different tables. There was a purple and blue cafeteria table. We had a blue color and a maroon color that were in storage. The purple tables were the only ones that we felt were that looked salvageable. They didn't have any missing seats or anything like that that could be used to go in that cafeteria.
Thank you.
And he also discussed about just some different things that they are doing. They're excited about. The cooler did work, so they did hook it up. The cooler did work. He didn't get a chance to put in electricity to power to the freezer, but when I left, he said he was hoping he could get power to both because he didn't have enough power to run both at the time. But the cooler did work. He didn't see any reason why the freezer wouldn't work since the cooler worked well. So that's a positive, knowing that we have that item still available. And and then soon, starting this week, maybe next week, he'll start washing the bricks in the building. He wants to try to wash the bricks down to kill anything that may have grown with the time that it's been sitting there. So he said that's one of his next phases of trying to wash the bricks out and everything. But as of right now, we have another meeting on March 20th. Maybe we can get an idea of just where we are as far as opening, since we are trying to move forward with this directive of bringing in the switch gear a lot sooner than we had originally planned.
Go ahead.
I do have one question. I may have the terminology incorrect. I can't quite find it again. We're looking at the end of September as being quote unquote substantially complete for the building. Is that correct? There's a certain phrase that gives me a bit pause. I mean, I would like somebody to define what substantially complete means.
Well, the last meeting we had, which was last month, that's why I'm hoping for this next week's meeting we can get a better idea. But it was the end of the main section will be completed a lot sooner than the annex and the other parts, but there will be still construction in those areas. And so when I discussed with Dr. Ellis about, because they were asking us whether or not we wanted to try to move in January, even with that construction still taking place, he and I both agreed that it probably is not a good idea to even have kids in that area. And at the time, the switchgear would not have been available.
Right.
And with everything would have had to shut off at the time in order for them to install the switchgear. So hopefully we can get a better update on March 20th on
That's
what
fine.
that would look like. Just right now,
Okay.
they was kind of in the air.
That's
what
good.
that would look
I
like.
mean, I just wanted to know. Thanks. That's very helpful.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chapman. All right. Next, we'll move to consideration and/or discussion for the change order, AIA document G701-2017, number 002. This change order, basically, Mr. Chapman, can you elaborate on that?
The change order was from a lot of the vandalism that took place and when the building was sitting just for a while with any type of I think it was 21 to 23 until the contract was extended. So that's what that change order was for. A lot of vandalism that took place in that building. So having to go back and fund that information, I think it was,
Copper wire.
yeah, copper wire and different things that were installed that were taken out. That's what that change order is for.
All right. I'll make the motion, board. Do we have a second? Okay, I made the motion, Dr. Brown made the second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. Next, we move to the next item, consideration and or discussion to approve the construction change directive for repairs and restoration of Hunt School. Thank you, Mr. Chapman.
Welcome back.
So the directives were for the change order directives for the electric switchgear. I think it was 51,000. That's for the switchgear to get it here in September initially. Like I said, it was sometime in the spring that we were projected to receive that switchgear. So that's what that change directive is for.
I move we accept.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Shoemake and a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right. Next, board, we have our contract renewal updates. This is the list that Ms. Rogers provides to us every month. We had a chance to look over it. Do we have any questions, board? Okay. If no questions, we'll move on to consideration and or discussion to approve our newly appointed board member to attend MSBA basic course for new school board members, which is June the 21st through the 22nd, 2024.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Smith, second by Dr. Brown. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right, number 6, we have consideration and or discussion for board members to attend the Southern Region Leadership Conference in Biloxi, Mississippi, July the 21st through the 23rd, 2024. Have a motion by Dr. Brown.
Second.
A second by Mr. Richardson. Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown.
Mr. Richardson made the second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right. Number 7, board, this is a reminder. The Mississippi Ethics Commission State of Economic Interest is due May 1st, 2024. Ms. Velma has placed the link on here. All we have to do is click that and fill it out, complete it. It only takes a few minutes. We want to make sure we get that done. Then we move on to item C, goal updates, policy BA, student attendance report, our school safety report, student discipline report, our dropout report, our safety report, number of accidents in schools. Items 1 through 4, board, we've had an opportunity to look over those. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate Fairview again on being in the green, and there is some movement at a couple of other schools to go from yellow to green, but I'm still very concerned about the high school. Even though the red is up, it's still not in a good place.
Any other questions or concerns, board? If not, we'll move on to item 5, superintendent update and reports. The first item is A, special program, special education, gifted 504 services, update by Ms. Valerie Bailey, special education director. Good evening.
I'm so glad y'all are following up on that, because I went to the graduation ceremony out at the base last year for this program, the search program, and there were 3 students, and it was life changing, absolutely life changing. One of the students had gone through the program, and he ended up being hired for the I don't remember which school. I think maybe New Hope, but he's on staff now. He's one of the janitors, but he is, and he, I mean, it was enough to make you cry. The joy that he had to bring home that first paycheck, and his mother was in tears. But it's something that can be very life changing. So thank you for pursuing it.
Okay.
Well, the other thing is,
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for letting me present. We're so excited about all the different things that have been going on in Spirit this year. We do have, in January, we did our mandatory first grade screening that we do every year. And I believe that's 111 folders of referrals that need to be tested now, IQ tested. And we just only have one psychometrist. And so, and we share her with all of the SPED testing as well. So later you'll see that that there is a proposal that we are able to contract a psychometrist to come and help us. And thank you, Miss Wilson and Miss Rogers and Miss Bailey, for helping us get that to you guys for the board meeting. Next. So this is our gifted roster breakdown. We have added more this year, and we are at 170 students at this time. If you can go to the next slide, please. And so that is up slightly from the end of last year. And we do have more students that have been referred this year than last year. So we're looking at a nice group for next year. Some upcoming events that I shared with you guys in August, and now they're kind of starting to come to fruition. I came here from the Rosenzweig Arts Center. The Columbus Arts Council worked with Miss Pringle, our spirit teacher at Franklin and Stokes Beard, and Miss Pringle has been working on a geometric line design project that she, by the way, got the idea from us being able to go to a new regional gifted PLC quarterly, and we thank y'all for letting us do that. But she and her students have been working so hard, and later Miss Mary will have those pictures to post on Facebook. The kids were so excited to have this opportunity to join the middle and high school art students that have been displaying their artwork at the Arts Council. And then the students at Cook, we are working on the play, the musical Moana Jr. And I just want to thank Miss Cornwall and Miss Rogers for helping us kind of get all that together. We're going to perform it May 15th, 16th, and 17th, and inviting the elementary students who are able to come and see it. And then we'll have one evening performance on Thursday, May the 16th at 6 p.m. I spoke with Miss Cornwall yesterday about the plans that she has for her parent night to be able to have booths and all types of information about upcoming events at this performance. And that was going to be my last thing, but I didn't realize what was going to be happening here tonight with honoring all the students. Thank y'all for doing that. With that, though, there's some numbers that were missing. 37, I counted, because there were 41, but there's some that repeated. 37 of those students were here tonight, and of those students, 24 of those students were spirit students when they were in elementary, and 18 of those students, I'm so glad Ms. Petty said something about going and really needing a high school teacher. But I also just wanted to add that 18 of those students had art, drama, music, violin in elementary school. And the foundation of their brain, the capacity of their brain, research says it starts in elementary school. That's where they are begin to be formed, their brains. And 18 of those students had that. And I know because I taught them drama. And so I just have to say that this does not take away from all of the middle school and high school teachers that pick up and gather those students and take them to where they are now. But I'll say, and to add to that, the elementary students are where those seeds are planted. And when we talk about this 3 years from now, how many students will have had? 0 of the students will have had dance and drama and art, 0 elementary students. And we've gone from having that, and this is what we're able to see, to this year having 2 schools that have certified arts teachers. Only 2 teachers in elementary school. 2 of 5 schools have have a music teacher. No art, no dance, no drama. And I think you can see from what happened tonight that those seeds are seeds that are well planted. And I just have to add that because I'm their advocate. So I thank you for letting me add that, and thank you. Do you have any questions about Spirit or anything about elementary arts? Thank y'all so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Smith has a question for you.
Concerning your MTSS, okay, with your IEP folders and all, are they up to date across the district? The IEP folders?
Pretty much,
as we
yes.
speak?
I have, I've had I have 2 different people to come in, and we're going through the IEPs. We've spent all day today in the file room going through IEPs. Now, we have found some discrepancies from the past that will be monitored next year by the State Department. So we're trying to get things, up to par. We've been working on them over the years since I've been here, but we're thoroughly going through them now. The teachers are working diligently and the correct way in them, because we have a program now that when they key in the IEPs, it doesn't let them lock it unless they're correct. So whatever they input in, it has to be correct in order for us to be able to lock it and them to use it the next year. So that program is a big help to us, to let us know that everything is in there that's supposed to be in there correctly. So yeah, we're working on that, and like I said, in the past, there were some that needed some updating, and we're working on getting that done now. But these IEPs that they're writing this year should be the correct ones for the next year. Last year's IEPs, I'd say about 95% of them were written correctly because they used the system, the database that we implemented.
So on your MTSS organizational chart, if you look at Columbus High, with your elementary school, you list the where you list the employee's name, and you list whether the chair, or you list what grade level they're working with. With the high school, it's just a name, just the I guess teacher's name. There's no grade, so we're assuming that these teachers working with all the grades.
I want to intervene. Can you hear me? You guys hear me? It's on. Okay. I just want to intervene on that. Today, I noticed that what you're referring to, that MTSS chart that I placed in there, that is an actual draft. I've gotta fix that. That's
Okay, revise it.
yes, sir.
Okay.
I gotta fix it.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. We're still kind of working through it. It's a draft, but yes, ma'am, it'll be very similar to that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry about that. I apologize.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Ms. Bailey. Next, we'll have Ms. Emma Cornwall with Federal Programs Director. Update.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So you've seen our district mission, and of course, we want all of our students to be college workforce and enlistment ready upon graduating. Purpose of the Federal Program Department is to provide the leadership and effective use of federal funds to support students, teachers, administrators, parents in reaching prescribed goals based on the needs identified in our stakeholders' evaluations like the needs assessments and other surveys that we send out for teachers, students, and parents to give us information, to help us provide information on our needs. The third page shows the allocation trends for the FY 22, 23, and 24 school terms. And as you can see, we have gradually, the funding for federal programs has decreased since 22, with the biggest decrease in FY 22. We are waiting on the federal government to release allocations for FY 25. So right now we're working on the 85% of funding for for next year at this point. These are the fund balances that were obligated for FY 21, 22, and 23. And right now, this year, we'll be closing out FY 23 with a September 30th obligation date. And we have until next year to finish spending the rest of the funding for FY 24. So FY 21 is totally closed out with 100% of funding spent. FY 22, at this point, 100% of that has been spent. We had about $200. MDE extended, they got a waiver, which allowed us to be able to spend that $200 some because they extended it. But we had spent most of our money, so we were able to get that off. FY 23 funding, you can see, and this was done about 2 weeks ago. So, you know, we have our April 1st deadline. So those numbers have changed since 2 weeks ago. We have things that are coming off. But as you can see, most of the FY 23 money that has to be obligated by September 30th is coming off. We got some things coming in like final dual enrollment. We've got credit recovery for students this summer. We've got some things that'll be coming off, and we'll get most of that off. Then you see the obligated funds for FY 24. That Title IV looks really low compared to the others because we usually try to have a little carryover money in Title IV because we never know like how many students going to sign up for dual enrollment, a lot of things. So we normally have a little bit of carryover in Title IV. The rest of Title V, most of those are salaries in Title V. So we're a little over halfway through the school year. So the rest of that would be off by June 30th on that Title V on FY 24. And SIG 103, those are our school improvement funds. And they just released those allocations for FY 24, which is almost over in February, February 20th, I believe it is. Our applications are due next month, around the 20th. So you'll see a signature letter on the next board docket for that application. The high school was awarded $54,000 because they are in school improvement. They are TSI school, and the middle school moved to CSI, and the middle school has a little over $100,000. And they are planning now, and with the leadership and with the school leadership teams, on effective use of those monies based on needs and information from the leadership here and school leadership. So this year, additional projects that we funded for FY 23-24 continuing education in an effort to grow our own. This year we don't have a lot. I'm hoping that next year we'll have more people who will sign up for that program. I'm going to work hard to make that happen. We also added the the mentor-mentee with Ms. Evans and Ms. Carolyn, working with those teachers and mentees. So we're going to support those mentors and mentees with the stipend for working with that. And then I just told you about the TSI and CSI schools, those funding. The only thing that I did not put on here, and I probably should have, was the ARP homeless that we were finally awarded and was approved. And that's money from back with the art programs. There was some funding for homeless, and we are going to provide some services, supplies, uniforms, coats, things like that. We will provide some food cards, and we could go back and we could support our homeless kids from the year of 22, 23, and 24. So we have a total of about 38 students that will benefit from that funding.
How much funding did we receive for that?
About $101,000 or $106,000.
Okay.
And part of those you see on the board docs at night with some SEL, some counseling, and part of it is for the homeless liaison, because there's going to be things to get out, some things with the parents, meetings with parents, and we have to really document what we're doing with that money. So we need a person in place to, and that's just a part-time person that will come in a couple of times a week to issue those, because some things want to issue close to the weekend.
Okay. How many homeless students do we have?
In this pool, this year, we don't have as many this year. We have more foster care kids. So on the homeless roster right now, we only have about 8 kids, but I could pick up and serve kids from 22, 23, the 21, 22, 22, 23, and 23, 24 school year would benefit from those funds, which is a total of 38 kids.
So how much assistance do we offer the homeless students?
So we follow the McKinney-Vento guidelines in terms of identifying our homeless, and we provide school supplies, we supply uniforms, and we work with partners in the community if they need hotels or housing, those kind of things. A lot of our homeless are double up. Sometimes they're in fires, or sometimes they've had to, for some reason, move from a situation that might not be, and they might double up with other relatives.
But you said the money is specific for things like codes.
Specifically for homeless.
Okay.
That and it covered those periods that was kind of right during with all the ESSER funding and all that.
Oh, okay.
So we could reach back and support those kids over those years.
Just one question about continuing education. You mentioned that wasn't really taken advantage of this year.
We had a session, and we had a good turnout. We had, that night, Dr. Ellis, I believe we had about 15 people there. Out of those 15, I know 3 people went to William Carey, and they are studying now.
Okay.
But they opted out taking the funds, because we have some stipulations on that. But we're looking at assistants now who are in the buildings.
Great.
We're looking at people who might have a certification in one area and want to get another certification. So hopefully, I'm hoping we're going to have more participation.
Great.
And we did open it the way we wrote that policy. We didn't make it just William Carey. We made it so they could go to the W if they wanted to.
yeah.
Right. So I'm hoping we'll get more participation in that. We need to start working on that like now.
Well, that's
for fall.
I know that since I've been on the board, that's one thing that we have, as board members, have talked about, is trying to figure out ways that we could, for instance, offer to somebody like an assistant teacher to go the next step and become
Right, right.
of certified teachers.
So what
thank
we'll
you for
do is we'll go
pursuing
back
that.
and review that list of those
Uh-huh.
teachers who signed up last time, and we'll probably have another meeting, hopefully have another meeting earlier, and see if there's anybody who's willing to or who want to, for whatever reason, they didn't participate this past time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Richardson, did you have any questions? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll move on to Dr. Ellis's report.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
I think we already talked about the mission, but I still want to say it. It's a part of what we do. The Columbus Municipal School District will provide students with the skills necessary to be college, workforce, enlistment ready by building bridges among students, parents, the community, and all district employees. Our vision is student-centered and excellence-driven. This is just a highlight of our strategic plan. Goes through all of the acronyms, the develop data, recruit, innovate, value physical prudence, and establish a safe environment for our students and staff. This is a calendar. This calendar just includes information in regards to our intercession that's going to be taking place on next week. So the intercession times are here for each school, elementary, middle, high school, and of course it has spring break on there as well. But if you look at the bottom, it kind of tells what's going to be taking place in regards to our intercession, the things that we're going to really be focusing on this spring. Last in the fall, we focused on some other things, but we're going to be focusing on some remediation, high dose tutoring, intensive high dose tutoring. Because if you look at that calendar, when we come back after the spring break, we're going to start testing very soon, and so we have to be very intentional about how we place our students. All right. Fast. Okay, this is information. This is information that you've already heard. This is just allocations. I asked Ms. Cornwall to provide me with a brief slide of her allocations, preliminary allocations, and she just spoke with you about these numbers here. All right. This is our second annual job fair that took place in this room a couple of weeks ago. These are just photos from people that were at our job fair. Other photos. If you see that nice tent, that's if you probably you'll see it more, but that's a tent that we got because we're rebranding, and so we have our own tent now with CMSD with our crest on it, the same crest that you have on your jackets, everybody. And so we just want to make sure that we're putting that out. And so as we begin to do things this fall, during the football season and other things that are taking place, you'll see that tent. And so we have one tent. And so we're going to look to get some more, but we just got one right now. And so she had the tent inside of this room. It actually was right here. And so it was very nice. All right, this is just a little more information about the job fair, a little bit of details. Each department had a table, for applicants to ask questions in regards to the programs and different things that we have in our district. In addition to that, there were nearly 60 people that registered online. We had 49 attended, and we had 10 to apply for jobs during the job fair. While that number may not seem like a lot, if you get 10 people to apply for a job, that's very significant. So we're really looking forward to it. All right. Just want to talk to you guys a little bit about this. Of course, everybody knows that we have been having conversations with everyone in town, some in the schools, some in the communities, and so we've been going around talking to individuals about our bond. And so I've been doing that along with Ms. Rogers as well as Mr. Chapman. Sometimes we work together, sometimes we work independently, and so Ms. Young has also been with us in certain locations, but these are the people that have basically been preparing and talking to the community members about the bond and what we're seeking to do here in the Columbus Municipal School District. All right. All right, of course, with the bond, I want to make sure that I keep this at the forefront, particularly right now to talk about our facilities. And of course, this is Franklin Academy. Of course, Franklin has a lot of issues that, we can't address all of them right now, but this just talks about some of the things that we need to do at Franklin around bathroom remodeling, auditorium, fire alarms, those types of things, the parking lot, secure fencing, etc. These are just photos of some things that are in Franklin at this particular time. Kind of gives you a photo of the restrooms and some of the facilities. Of course, this is a very old building. This is not uncommon. I see Mr. Little sitting there. I'm quite sure he talks to us about this all the time. You repaint it, Dr. Ellis, it's just gonna, it's gonna peel off again. And so he already knows they paint it and it peels again. But these are just things that we have to address. The windows, auditorium, which is a beautiful place. I could just imagine how it looked in its heyday, but it needs some work. Joe Cook would include some things like remodeling, flooring, renovations. These are some of the needs that they have. Of course, the board is narrowing it down to see, what we're going to focus on these buildings, but these are just some of the things that we need in that particular building. Just photos of some of the flooring, restrooms, other photos of the restrooms, urinals. All right, Stokes Beard. Of course, Stokes Beard is one of our newer schools, but they still need some work. One of the main things that we want to do for Stokes is to make sure that they have a gym, because right now I call what they have a cafetorium. So in the cafetorium, you do a lot of different things. I worked at a school before, we didn't have a gym, but the cafetorium was everything. It was your gym, it was the cafeteria, it was the auditorium, so it was a lot of different things. And so we want to work on getting a gym for them. Also, we're looking at fencing and securing a perimeter around that particular school. I guess the board says, why are you talking to me about this, Dr. Ellis? We already know this. But I'm going around and I'm talking to different people in the community, so I want to make sure that I'm constantly saying the same types of things. Stokes Beard, of course, those are photos. You kind of know what we got at Stokes. Union Success, USA. There are certain things that it needs there, but of course we talk about the kitchen, but we're not even using the kitchen there, so that's a mute issue. Just photos of the school, different things there at Union Success. Of course, you guys know our alternative school is there. Fairview Elementary, there are some needs at Fairview as well. Of course, they don't have a gym, they have a cafetorium as well. They need upgrades and things like that at that particular school. These are just photos, candid shots that Ms. Polish took when we were touring some of the buildings. Right. Of course, this is a photo of at Fairview. This is their cafetorium, auditorium, all that. And this is a photo of them at Fairview Church. This is our high school, Columbus High School. Of course, they need some upgrades as well. And it includes restrooms, safety overhauls, those types of things. And it even includes the athletics complex. All right, this is the front of the high school. Of course, we explored the idea of doing some things with this particular interest, but this is what I want to bring your attention to. We spoke about this the other day. This is our auditorium. We were talking about those chairs. I want to really spend some time one day and go over there to see how many chairs really need to be repaired, because there may be something that we can do that may not require us to do some of the things that we discussed. These are other photos, the high school. This is McKellar. Of course, there are some upgrades that need to take place at McKellar. It's an older building, but it's been well maintained for the age that it has. These are some of the photos of McKellar. Of course, the board knows this. We were just at McKellar the other week. This is Sale Elementary. Of course, we have some needs at sale. Of course, the board is already aware of those, the different upgrades that we need. These are some other photos of McKellar. Columbus High School, which is one of our newer schools. It has some needs, but nothing that is urgent, so to speak, like some of our other buildings. This is a photo of the athletics facility in the middle school. Of course, in this particular building, there's a small leak there, and so we're looking at working on that roof to try to get that corrected. This is the outside as far as the drainage and those types of things. Of course, this is our athletics. Of course, regards to our athletic complex, you know, there's some tough, horrible conditions there, and so we've been working to kind of overhaul that. Softball, looking at our lights, poles, all those types of things. There's some needs that we have there. So these are just some photos. A couple months ago, the board had the opportunity, well, we all had the opportunity to tour our athletic facilities, and we've put a laser light focus on doing some things there. And so if you see the before and after photo, it's like night and day. Looks much better. And this was done by our guys in-house, and so we're happy about that. All right. Of course, if you see this, this is the before, this is the after. These are the showers. This is what Mr. Smith was alluding to earlier. I think it's these showers. When we went there last week, I don't know, these things may just have to be replaced, but this is the before, this is the after at one of the showers, but there are some showers that still have issues with these deals right here. But this looks better, but we still have work to do. Of course, this floor is still not acceptable, and so we got to do something to work on that. But if you look where it was 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and where it is now, we're making some progress. We're not satisfied with the progress, but you know, we're making some progress, and we're going to keep moving. All right. All right, this is the field house. This is before and this is after. This is actually something that was in a ceiling, like maybe right there. And so what happened is I guess it was leaking, and somebody took this and just kind of taped it up there, you know what I mean? And so all that is fixed now, and you can see this is done, and this was done by our guys, Mr. Little and his department. They went in and we got it done. So this is a before and after. And you may say, well, that room still doesn't look too good, Dr. Ellis, but you can look at this carpet. It's up. We've cleaned the room. Ms. Somerville went over yesterday. This is not the photo since Ms. Somerville had a crew to go over to do some things, but it looks much better. We're working to get some things done there on that floor, so that's something that should be corrected relatively soon. These are just photos of some of the piping and that type of thing in the field. This is the track that we discussed before. Of course, right now we're spending probably about $25,000 to get that track fixed, only for our students to have track for this season. I think we have a couple more track meets. And so that track should be ready by Tuesday. Okay, so it should be ready soon, but it's only going to get us through this year. But that's just a photo of the track. Of course, this is our weight room. Some of this, we're looking at that with our coach and the athletic director. We may get some of this upholstered, some of this stuff, we may just get something new. But we're going to try to, you know, work within our means. This is a photo. Of course, everybody knows that we have a new coach, Coach Simpson. This is a welcome that we had for Coach Simpson at the high school. So we had some city council and different people from the community to come and welcome him, and that took place at the high school in McKellar a couple of weeks ago. Down to the good stuff. This is our enrollment breakdown for February. You can look here, it's pretty much the same. I do the same standard deal every month, lets you know where we were January and where we are now. So at the end of January, we had 3,054 students. Now we have 3,068 students, so we got a couple of students from somewhere. That's a good thing. All right, this talks about the enrollment, attendance, and the discipline. Of course, I always talk about this each month. This is very important when we talk about attendance. Teacher attendance, student attendance is very important because if a student is not at school, then that student is not what? Learning. And so we need to have the kid in the seat. We need our teachers at school, because if teachers are not in the building, then they don't have qualified individuals to teach them. So if you look here, this is done by school, and this tells you where it was February 1st through the 29th. It gives you the enrollment from 22 to 23. Sorry about that. Enrollments from 22 to 23, the attendance and discipline. So I'm just going to pick a school. I'm going to pick on the middle school. If you look at the discipline for the middle school for 2022, they had about, this same time, they had about 69 deals with discipline. Now they have 87. Now the middle school, I will admit, has been a little busy over the past month. It's getting warm, and sometimes when it starts to get springtime, kids get a bit active, and so some of that spills in from the community, but that's just a part of a school. We're working on it, but that's just the school business. This gives you the total numbers for all of these areas. So if you look at the discipline for 22, total number at this time for all schools would have been 221. If you look at it for 2023, 305, so that count is up. You look at the attendance, which is very important, because the average, we get our monies based on average daily attendance. So if you look at the attendance for, total attendance for 2022, 4830, 5639. We got some work to do, you know. All right, student and teacher attendance, 2324 student attendance, tells you by school. As far as the ADA is concerned, that's important. Those are the things that drive our funding. So we have to make sure that we do a better job of getting our students to school. I know that sometimes at a high school it's a challenge, because as a former high school principal, I understand that you are competing with work, and you're competing with, sometimes students are being parents as well. So you're competing with a lot of different things as you make it to the high school. So, but we still have to do a better job of trying to make sure our students are there. Teacher attendance, it breaks it down by the sick, vacation, unpaid leave, the total absences. And so if you look here, you can see that we have, if I just look at this column here, the high school has, well, the high school and the middle school has a high number of total absences for staff. Now that could be for a variety of reasons, but that's pretty high. And so that's something that we need to look at, because if you don't have teachers in the building, who's teaching your kids? So that's something that we need to really pay attention to. All right. Right now we are currently taking our benchmarks, and at this data point, you will have a true picture of where our district is based upon the indications. And we've been talking all day, and I think we're moving, well, I know we're moving in the right direction. And so some areas that we were concerned about, it seems like we have a ray of light. And so in April, the coaches are looking at the data. We're double checking the data. I'm gonna make sure that it's right. And so I don't wanna give you any misinformation. And so when I give you the data in April at our board meeting, you'll have some hard data to know exactly where we're standing before we take our state assessments. Because as a board, you asked me when I came, and I'm gonna make sure that I provide that to you. You have any questions, anything that you need to ask me that may be burning?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I do
ma'am.
have one question on
Yes, ma'am.
intercession.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a number yet on how many people have signed up?
A number yet of how many people that signed up? Okay. She'll have the number for me tomorrow.
Okay, could you send it to all of
I'll
us?
send it to
Yeah,
the entire
and then-
board. So we'll have that to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
And the other thing on intercession, you asked before, and I talked with you about that. You said that you wanted to know the total number. You wanted to know the impact that intercession had on our students. So as we sat and talked about it, after we have this intercession this spring, we are going to track the people that were in the fall and the spring intercession, and then we will be able to give you guys a better picture on the impact of intercession. Or if Stanley went to intercession, did it have an impact on did he do well, or was there a correlation to his MAP scores or how he scored on his benchmark?
Yeah, I know we don't have enough data points yet.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Yes,
great,
ma'am.
thank you.
All right.
Do we have enough staff for intercession?
Yes, sir, we do. We got enough bus drivers, and enough staff for intercession this time. Yes, sir.
Any questions, board? All right. Thank you, Dr. Edwards.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, next we'll move on to open forum. Do we have anyone signed up? Okay, thank you, Ms. Evans. All right, next we'll move on to Office of Superintendent, School Operations. Dr. Ellis has already given us his travel report. Is that the only place you went, was MSBA, correct?
About 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to travel to Ridgeland, Mississippi. Each month, they have it's really designed for first-year superintendents, the Mississippi Superintendents Association. And so we met at Jim Keith's office there. And so there were about 6 or 7 other superintendents there that were new superintendents, but some of them even started after me. So I felt kind of good, even though I'm a new superintendent. Some people just started in August. And so I had a little edge on them. But at any rate, at this meeting, Dr. Birchfield, Jim Keefe, and they had the superintendent from DeSoto County, Corey, to come, and he spoke to us about the ups and downs of being a new superintendent, the fact that you learn each year. He gave us a lot of pointers on different things that you can do for your board members. He says you need to know things like, when is your board's birthday? I just asked Ms. Woodard the other day to find out when every board member's birthday is. He said things like, you need to know your board members. Each board member is different. You need to know the people that are your board members' adversaries, and you need to know the people that are your board members' friends, because he says when somebody calls him, he already knows his board members. This is a true story. And he says that if he's going to meet with Joe Blow, he's going to let his board member know, I'm going to meet with Joe Blow for lunch. I'm not sure what Joe Blow wants, but I'll follow up with you just so you're having open dialogue with the board. But he was just giving us some pointers as being a seasoned superintendent. And so it was a really good meeting. They got maybe like 1 or 2 more. This is the first one that I've gone to, and I told them I would plan to try to come to another one before, the end of the year. But it was a really good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move to item B, superintendent recommendations. We'll take, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yes. Okay. Okay, so Dr. Brown and Mr. Richardson are both recusing themselves from the superintendent's recommendations. Okay. Number 1, we're taking up consideration and or discussion to approve staff and personnel items. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Smith, I made the motion. Mr. Smith made the second. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Looking through the chart that we received, as far as from recommendations approved from administration, faculty, and staff. Okay, maybe Dr. Ellis, Ms. Holly, y'all can answer this for me. Okay, under the listing of the staff, we have assistant superintendent of district and school operations. Is that Mr. Chapman? Okay, all right, then it's not a listing for the other assistant superintendent. Is there any reason?
She's at the bottom. Mhm. He's just kind of asking all right now. It's okay. That
No,
way
no, no, I'm just asking my question right now before we
Yeah,
get through the
yeah.
other.
He is.
Okay,
Do you want Miss Evans to
okay,
come up?
all right, thank you.
Okay. Mhm. Yeah, I saw it. It's on there.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, my other question, I know we had to make some cuts, right? We're working on the budget, so we're making some cuts, is that correct? Okay, so I know one time it was discussed like around $1 million that we had to make cuts. Is that correct? Or that's just what was said? Okay, so where are we right now in making the cuts as far as the approval? What's being requested tonight to approve? From a, do you have? So we are cutting some staff members. But besides attrition, are we making cuts?
We have made some cuts, and after we made some of the cuts, some of those people will not be renewed in that position, but they have found, I'll say, a comfortable position, maybe as a teacher. Just say if you had a job, in a certain job that was paying a certain dollar amount, you may says, okay, we can offer you a teacher job at a school now, and so that's gonna cut the amount of money that we're having to spend out for that particular position.
Okay, so what about like in, for an example, academic coding? I mean, academic coaches, coding, lead teachers? So when, go ahead, go ahead. Okay, so we've reduced some of the days, like from 236 to 187, from 236 to 207. So,
2:30.
so what process do we use as far as making the cut? As far as days? Okay,
Ms. Rogers, would it be possible, in the next month, maybe in supplementary item, just show that number through attrition of how we've been able, what we're saving, that dollar amount of what we're saving, not necessarily the position, but what we're saving through attrition? Okay,
so,
all right, go ahead.
so are we just cutting in academics only? Are we just cutting across the board where we see the necessity? Right now, as far as the cuts that have been made, are they only in the academic area? Okay, all right, my next question is, I'm looking through the charts here. Okay, like the academic coach, instructional technology, if we look at, on page 17, on the salaries, on the salary schedules.
I gotta go find here. Number 6, Dr. Schumach's number 6. You're looking at number 17?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, so my question here, okay, academic coach, instructional technology coach, public information officer, community specialist. Okay, so are these people on the same pay scale as the teachers? Okay. And the last question that I have is that, when was the last time, that the faculty or the teachers, received a pay increase? Yeah, I know I'm talking about from the district. Yes, ma'am. And how long you been there? Since you came back? Okay, thank you. I don't have no questions.
Okay. Okay. Did you have anything, Dr. Schumann? Okay. All right. Let's see. Get back to where we were. Okay. Number one, we have a motion by Young and Mr. Smith made the second.
Yeah.
We were at discussion. All in favor for item number one? And it is unanimous. Okay. Number two, consideration and or discussion to approve administrative recommendations.
So moved.
A motion by Dr. Shoemake,
Second.
second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. Next, we'll take item three, consideration and or discussion to approve administrators and directors for the 2024-2025 school year. I'll make the motion.
Second.
I made the motion, Mr. Smith made the second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. Okay. Number four, consideration and or discussion to approve the certified staff for 2024-2025 school year.
Oh.
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion by Dr. Shoemake and a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. Number five, consideration under discussion to approve the classified staff for 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dr. Shoemake and a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? And it is unanimous. Number six, consideration and or discussion to approve the 2024-2025 CMSD salary schedules. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second by Dr. Shoemake. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Rogers. I got it. Sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Next, we'll move to item 10, Office of Business Management, CMSD, Business Administrator, discussion of the following items. We have item A, consideration to approve our monthly financial reports. We have our fund balance report, number one. Number two, our cash balance report. Number three, the budget status report. Number four, the monthly revenue budget report. Number five, the monthly expenditure budget report. We'll take items 1 through 5.
So moved.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Richardson. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right, next we have item 6, the certification and summary of our reconciled bank statements. Number 7, our budget amendments. Number 8, our fixed asset disposals. We'll take items 6 through 8. I'll make the okay. Okay, Mr. Smith made the motion and Mr. Richardson made the second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right, next we have our claims docket. Okay, this time, Mr. Smith is recusing himself for this portion of the agenda. We have our claims docket, which is item A, the paid accounts payable claims for board ratification. Items B, the held accounts payable claims to the Columbus Light and Water. And item C, the regular accounts payable to the claims docket. Okay, we have a motion by Dr. Brown,
Second.
second by Dr. Shoemake. Okay, if any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous, 4-0, okay? Thank you, Ms. Feldman. All right, at this time, we have item 10, consideration and or discussion to purchase the band uniforms using surplus funds located in Fund 1121 totaling $65,657.50. We have a motion by Mr. Richardson. We have a second by Dr. Brown. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right. Next, board, we have item B, FYI, our chief financial officer updates. We have our number 1, which is the monthly ad valorem tax collection analysis report. Ms. Rogers, can you give them an update just on the information that will be sent to us today only regarding from the tax assessor's office? Can we add that in or we can't? Just in the collection. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. All right, and the CMSD fund balance trends, our bank cash balance yearly comparison, our student event activity report, and our federal programs and IDEA monthly financial review. Board, do we have any questions? Okay. All right, next we'll move to item 11, the consent agenda. Item A, our monthly policy review update, consideration and or discussion to approve our revised policies during the April the 8th, 2024 board meeting. We have policy GBC, recruitment and selection, policy B, policy ID, which is instructional management systems, and policy C, which is, not policy C, but item C, policy IEA, intervention policy and process. This is just for our review board. That means next month we'll actually take the item up and approve it. Next, we have item B, which is consideration or discussion to approve agreements, contracts, memorandum of understanding, out-of-state travel, field trips, and student transfers. We're going to take items 1 through 9, consideration to approve student transfers. Number 2, MD Tech statement of work agreement to perform consulting services. Number 3, Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Mississippi, a donation to McKellar Technology Center. Number 4, Steel Dynamics, Columbus donation to Columbus High School athletic football and for athletic field house in the amount of $20,000. Rental space lease agreement for 2024-2025. Number 6 is Cook Elementary out-of-state field travel to McWayne Center in Birmingham, Alabama on May 17th, 2024. Number 7, Columbus High School track and field out-of-state travel. And yeah, May, which is in Tuscaloosa, March 23rd, 2024. Columbus High School track is number 8 to Memphis, Tennessee, and that's in April. Thank you, Ms. Filmer. In April 2024. And number 9, Columbus High School indoor percussion overnight field trip, participate in the indoor percussion championships competition in Dayton, Ohio, University of Dayton. We're taking items 1 through 9.
So moved.
We have a motion by Dr. Shoemake.
Second.
Okay. Second by Dr. Brown. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right. Next, we have item 10, Glenda Richardson Support Services for Homeless Students and Parents. This is submitted by the Federal Programs Director. Consideration in order to discussion to approve the contract.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Shoemake, second by Dr. Brown. Any discussion? Do we have any discussion, board? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right, next we have item 11, 12, and 13. Yvonne Henley Professional Services for Counseling and Social and Emotional Learning for the Homeless. Number 12, Rosetta Stone, FY 24-25 Renewal Agreement. And number 13, Baptist Rehab Services Agreement for Physical, Operational, and Speech Therapy Services.
I need 11.
Oh, we need to take number, okay,
Yes,
go ahead, I'm
on-
so sorry.
It's okay. On 11, it's renewal.
No, sir, it's a new,
11 is under professional service for counseling, social, emotional learning for the homeless students. Is that correct? Okay. All right. So we have a proposal here, but who's been taking care of this in the past?
Ms. Cornwall.
We have intercession next week, and then the following week is spring break. So actually, this person, whoever the consultant will only be here, what, like a month and a half to provide service? So it could do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's. And the students will have enough support without this extra, the 32 students that would be affected. Right.
Prove this amount of money, and this gonna show up that you were doing want to spend this kind of money. I just think, might be, I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but you don't want to do anything that gonna damage your perception of what, because people already think they think you're top heavy. They think that you got stuff that you don't have, and so when you show this, that you're hiring people, but you're asking for money. They don't know where, they don't really, the public, you telling us where it come from, but the public not gonna really understand that, you know. Right, you understand that, but you understand what I'm saying. If I come, I'm a pastor of church, and if I go in there and make this presentation, but I'm saying we need to increase the budget, $75,000, and they're saying, well, you just hired a musician for $25,000. Why we need to increase this? Because we make it without this until the end of our fiscal year. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I was thinking of the students. I mean, if they need help, why not give it to them?
I know her personally.
But it's a short period of time. That's what I'm saying. Right, right. So this can carry over, what you saying? Yeah. So, so, Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we reject the proposal at the present time.
So we
Wait,
had taken,
wait, just wait a minute.
So we would have to
Oh, we've got to go
take
back.
our, you'd have to rescind your motion and your second. Someone had made a motion and a
No,
second.
we never got that
We never
far. We
made
got
it.
interrupted before you called for
You
it.
was calling me.
Totally different. So we'd have to take number 11, okay, only.
Take 11 on.
We take 11 only. Yvonne, Yvonne Henley, professional services for counseling and social and emotional learning for homeless students. Mr. Smith made a motion to reject the contract
At the present time.
at the present time. Is there a second? We have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Ms. Dr. Brown. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor of the rejection? Okay. And it passes 3-2. Okay. All right, then we'll take number 12 and 13. Number 12, Rosetta Stone FY 24-25 renewal agreement, and Baptist Rehabilitation Services Agreement for Physical, Operational, and Speech Therapy Services. I'll make the motion.
Second?
Motion by myself, a second by Dr. Shoemake. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right, next we have item 14, to accept lawn care services bid.
Yeah, I want to discuss that.
Okay, we need to make a motion and a second first.
I move we accept.
Okay. Dr. Shoemake,
I'll make a substitute motion that we
Wait, wait.
reject.
It has to be second.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did together, Mr. Smith made a substitute motion to reject the bid.
So moved.
Okay, he made a motion,
Second.
Okay.
and Mr. Richardson made a second, okay?
Mhm.
All right, any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor to reject the lawn care services bid? And it is, 3-2. All right, next we have items, we'll take items 15, 16, and 17. Number 15 is Power School Information Systems. Number 16, Raptor Technology Subscription Renewal. And number, oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna take 18 also. Number 17, Kathy G. Lindsay School Psychologist Services Contract. And number 18, Columbus Boys and Girls Club, CMSD School Transportation Services Agreement. Need a motion for items 15 through 18.
So moved.
Have a motion by Dr. Brown,
Second.
second by Mr. Richardson. All right, any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous. All right. Next, we have board our dates to remember. Our academics, March the 15th, 2024, the end of the third 9 weeks. B is March the 18th through the 22nd, spring intercession. C, March 22nd, 2024, Junior Auxiliary of Columbus Summer All-Stars. Boys, one-day kickoff event at Fairview Elementary. D, March 25th through the 29th is spring break. Number 2, remember our athletics. Number 3, our board meetings, April the 3rd, Board of Trustees review meeting, school tour, Sale Elementary at 11:30 a.m. And April the 8th, Board of Trustees regular meeting minutes, Brandon Central Services Center at 6 p.m. Ms. Porter, have we been to Sale this year already? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
that's what it is, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
All right, next we're going to close determination for executive session. We'll be out in a minute with our announcement.
Do we have a motion? I motion, Mr. Robert E. Smith Sr. as our board vice president. All in favor? Is that five? All five, okay. And it carries? Yes, ma'am. Next, we have a motion, we will have a motion for our board secretary. I'll second. All in favor? It is unanimous. And the next item on our agenda is to adjourn. Dr. Schubert? Did you have a question? Um, I didn't get there yet. The adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I made the motion, and Richard seconded.
All in favor? Any discussions? I'm sorry. Are there any discussions? No? All in favor? Have a good night.